Hey guys, welcome back to latest movie stories. By the way, how are you, lovers of myth and urban legend films? Hurry up and get your neighbor's Wi-Fi password ready to watch this scary movie, because this time, I'm going to talk about the crazy film Let Me In. This movie is actually a remake of a Swedish film, originally titled Let the Right One In. Curious about what the story is like? Alright, instead of you getting so curious that you stress out and start tearing up a snack stall, let's just jump straight into it. And if you enjoy this channel, feel free to subscribe so you don't miss other awesome videos from us. The film opens with the fast, urgent actions of medical staff treating a patient with severe burns all over his body. This is definitely not in Konoha, guys. We can see them doing everything they can to save this man. Long story short, a detective named Elias tries to get a statement from the victim, whose name is Thomas. But since Thomas isn't able to speak yet, Elias immediately hands him a piece of paper and a pen to communicate.
Are you a Satanist?
Just as he's about to start asking a few questions, Elias is suddenly called away because of a phone call from his boss. As soon as Elias leaves, Thomas is seen trying to reach for the pen. Man, who knows what's going on? Out of nowhere, Thomas is later found dead after jumping from the 3rd floor. It turns out that before he died, Thomas had written an apology letter to someone named Abby. After all the effort from the medical team and the police to save him, he still chose to take his own life. What could have happened? Take it easy. The movie has only just begun.
Too has a legacy of evil with which it must deal.
The story flashes back to 2 weeks before Thomas's death, set in a quiet apartment courtyard. A lonely boy named Owen is hanging out by himself in the cold night. Not long after, Owen quickly rushes home when he hears his mother calling him. While having dinner, his mother hears the phone ringing and immediately answers it. But instead of good news, she suddenly gets angry after hearing the voice of her husband, whom she has long been separated from. It turns out Owen is a child from a broken home. In the middle of his parents' heated argument, Owen can only keep his emotions to himself. After dinner, Owen sees his mother crying and feels the urge to do something when he notices a kitchen knife in front of him. It's really heartbreaking. All the emotions he has been holding inside can only be released by venting his frustration alone. All this time, he can only comfort himself by being a stalker, basically spying on his neighbors. While he's peeking around, Owen's attention suddenly shifts to an old man arriving with a young girl who has just moved in. Owen is extremely confused when he sees the girl walking barefoot on the freezing snow. Turns out, this barefoot girl lives in the unit right next to his apartment. The next day, Owen, who gets bullied constantly, was dealing with this wannabe cool jerk named Kenny. During swim practice, a girl named Mia got fed up when Kenny and his crew started acting like total creeps. Seeing that, Mr. Dedang, their teacher, immediately shut them down and disciplined Kenny's squad. Not long after, Owen got a bad gut feeling and bolted for home. What a bunch of absolute morons! Just because he saw Owen looking at him, Kenny, who clearly has zero backbone, decided to bully Owen by giving him a massive wedgie that totally crushed his junk. It wasn't until Owen literally pissed himself that they finally backed off, totally grossed out. That night, unable to fight back, Owen could only take out his frustration on a jenkle tree. In the middle of his meltdown, he was startled to see that same barefoot girl from before watching him. As she introduced herself, the girl, named Abby, was baffled by Owen's behavior. But Owen just snapped at her, telling her to stop sticking her nose into his business.
You know, I can't be your friend. Just so you...
As the night grew later, Owen became even more puzzled when he saw Abby's guardian, Thomas, staring at him intensely. Once Thomas reached the parking lot, it turned out he was staking out a driver who was about to buy some food supplies. Oh, turns out this Thomas guy is a psycho wearing a fried snack bag as a mask, guys. He's planning to do something twisted to this man. Thomas is seen hanging the man's body up like a slaughtered pig. Lord knows what he's up to. But Thomas is seen collecting his victim's blood into a jerry can. Once it's full, he hurries off with his looted blood. Sucks for him, though. All that blood he worked so hard to collect ends up spilling because he tripped. When a patrol car shows up, Thomas bolts instantly. Long story short, Owen, who just got back from hanging out, is puzzled to hear the sound of a fight coming from Abby's apartment. Inside, Abby is seen totally chewing out Thomas for failing to get the blood. Strangely, Thomas actually looks terrified of getting scolded by Abby, even though she's just a kid. Who exactly is this Abby girl? The following night, Abby asked Owen why he's always so lonely and moping around. She even offered to be his friend. Owen, who's a total loner with no life, was obviously thrilled. While lending her a Rubik's Cube, Owen asked why Abby is always barefoot even though it's freezing. Abby just replied that she's doing some rheumatism therapy. Despite it being weird, Owen quickly said his goodbyes before his mom could start chewing him out. Once Owen left, Abby looked like she was in serious pain, clutching her stomach like she had an acute case of starvation. In the middle of the night, a guy named Jack was puzzled to see a young girl sitting in a tunnel looking like a hobo. Thinking she was lost, Jack offered to give her a ride home. Turns out, Abby is actually a vampire. Just like in those cheesy teen dramas, guys! A few hours later, Owen overheard another heated argument coming from the apartment next door. Turns out, Thomas was ticked off because Abby had been sloppy with how she hunted her prey. Eventually, Thomas headed to the crime scene to clean up Jack's body so they wouldn't get caught. The next night, Owen was totally starstruck seeing Abby, who looked fresh and beautiful. Turns out, after getting her fix of blood, this little vampire returned to peak condition. From there, they grew even closer, especially since this was Owen's first time having a pretty girl as a friend.
Cheers.
The next day, Owen, who was just minding his own business, ended up getting bullied again by Kenny. Kenny threatened Owen not to snitch to anyone, or else he'd get beaten up even worse. Owen, who has no guts, could only comply. That night, Abby was worried when she saw the bruises on Owen's face. Owen then told her that it was the work of a nuisance gang that's always bullying him. Abby encouraged Owen to be brave enough to fight back, and not be a guy with no backbone. She even offered to help him beat up that gang, but Owen refused because of his pride. The next night, Owen wanted to ask Abby out. He even snuck into his mom's room to steal some cash. Then, Owen took Abby to play arcade games. On the way home, Owen bought some candy and told Abby to pick out any snacks she liked. But Abby, who isn't used to eating human food, refused. Since she felt bad seeing Owen disappointed, she just asked for some Yosan bubblegum.
Really?
When he saw Abby throwing up, naive Owen was terrified she got pregnant just from holding hands. So he immediately hugged her. Then, Owen was over the moon when Abby suddenly said she loved him. Talk about a dream come true! Owen accepted her love right then and there. But Abby asked, would Owen still accept her for who she really is? Without knowing Abby is a vampire, Owen said he'd accept everything. On the way back from their date, Owen wanted to go in for a kiss, but was interrupted by his mom's voice calling out to him. Wait, how did Abby suddenly disappear? Even though he was confused by Abby's speed, Owen, who was head over heels, couldn't stop grinning to himself. When Abby got home, Thomas told her to stop seeing Owen because he's just a naive little kid. But Abby didn't care.
Joyce.
In the middle of the night, Thomas got ready to play the fried snack bag masked psycho again at the aerobic studio parking lot. But just as he was about to make his move, he panicked because his victim gave a friend a ride. He was forced to wait for the right moment. Once he felt the coast was clear, he immediately carried out his plan. After successfully finishing off his victim, Thomas floored it to get away. What a stroke of bad luck! In his panic, Thomas's car ended up plunging into a ravine. When the locals arrived, he, being trapped, was forced to douse his face with acid so his identity wouldn't be discovered. As it turns out, this was the reason behind Thomas's severe burns at the beginning of the movie. Meanwhile, back at the apartment, Abby panicked when she heard the radio news about the masked psycho's arrest. Realizing it was Thomas, Abby immediately rushed to the hospital. At the hospital, Thomas, whose face was already disfigured, seemed to have accepted his fate. He let Abby drink his blood as a parting gift. So this is what actually happened, guys. Long story short, Abby, with her face smeared with blood, showed up at Owen's room and asked for permission to enter. As it turns out, a vampire can't come inside unless they're invited by the owner. While they were sleeping together, Owen was startled because Abby's body was ice cold. Now that she was all alone, Abby asked Owen to stay with her forever, and Owen agreed. The next day, Owen was baffled by how Abby could just climb in through his window like some kind of spider woman. Later, during an outdoor school activity, Owen panicked when Kenny showed up to threaten him again. But remembering his babe Abby's words, Owen didn't want to be called a coward anymore. He grabbed a metal lake railing post just in case. When Kenny came over to mock him, Owen immediately took action. I thought he was tough, but he's actually a total paper tiger. Kenny immediately burst into tears when his ear got ripped open after Owen smacked him with that metal post. Right then, Mr. Dedang started panicking because the students discovered Jack's frozen corpse inside the lake. The next day, Owen and his mom were called into the guidance counselor's office. Just like your typical bullying case, the victim who fights back is the one who gets blamed, without anyone looking into why it happened. That night, Owen proudly bragged to Abby about how he finally had the guts to take down Kenny. As a reward, Abby gave him a kiss. Then, Owen took Abby to an empty apartment that serves as his secret hideout. It's so cringe. Owen actually asked Abby to do a blood oath. Obviously, being a vampire, Abby couldn't handle the smell of fresh blood. Since she couldn't bring herself to attack Owen, Abby chose to find another prey instead. A neighbor named Larry was in total shock when he saw Abby feasting on his wife's neck. In a panic, Larry scrambled to call for help. Owen was also shocked to see his neighbor being rushed to the hospital, all because of Abby. That night, Owen asked Abby who she really was. Finally, Abby came clean, admitting that she's a vampire cursed to be 12 years old forever, even though she's actually hundreds of years old. Abby also mentioned that Thomas wasn't her father, but her boyfriend from 50 years ago. Terrified, Owen immediately said his goodbyes and left. The next day, Detective Elias asked Larry for a statement regarding the attack on his wife. But strangely, the wife was already starting to turn into a vampire. Larry mentioned that the culprit looked like his new neighbor, Thomas. While they were busy talking, the wife was busy turning into a vampire. Oh my God! They were all in total shock when they saw the wife get torched by the sunlight until she turned into ash. That night, Abby met up with Owen and asked for permission to enter. She said that if a vampire forces their way in without being invited, something terrible will happen. It turns out, if a vampire forces their way in, they start bleeding everywhere and die. Abby asked Owen to stay over at her apartment because she felt incredibly lonely. The next morning, Owen, who was sleeping over at Abby's apartment, panicked when he heard someone arriving. Turns out, it was Detective Elias, and he was demanding that Owen surrender. Abby herself was sleeping inside the bathtub to avoid the sun. Just as Elias was about to open the window blinds, Abby lunged out and brutally finished him off right in front of Owen's eyes. After that, Abby decided to leave so Owen wouldn't get into any trouble, and she told him to take care of himself. The next day, Owen truly became a pathetic loner again. He was so devastated after Abby left. While he was at swim practice, Owen panicked when his friend told him there was a fire at school. Turns out, it was just a trap set by Kenny's gang to get revenge. When he saw Kenny coming, Owen immediately ran away. Turns out, now it's Kenny who has no backbone because he had to bring his older brother along for backup. While pointing a knife at him, Kenny's older brother Jim ordered Owen to hold his breath underwater for 3 minutes. If not, he'd get stabbed. Man, this is so satisfying! Luckily, Abby showed up to help and brutally slaughtered that entire cool guy gang. Their bodies were scattered everywhere like sacrificial cows at a butcher shop. The next day, Owen decided to go with Abby. Simp Owen carried Abby inside a large wooden box. Now, Owen is the one stepping into Thomas's shoes to protect Abby and find her prey. And that's the end of the movie. Honestly, guys, if you think about it, Owen's story is actually really deep. For all of you out there who might feel lonely like Owen, or are struggling mentally because of being bullied by those around you, listen to me carefully. The world is indeed cruel and unfair sometimes, but that's no reason for you to just give up. Learn from Owen. You need to start having the guts to stand on your own 2 feet. Don't let trashy people ruin your mental health and your future. Remember, you don't need to be a vampire to be strong. You just need to believe that you are valuable. Find your own version of Abby, and by that I mean find an environment or friends who truly support you for who you are. Stay strong and don't let anyone walk all over you. All right, enough of that. I'm getting all emotional talking about motivation like this. Anyway, thank you so much for watching until the end here on Latest Movie Stories. Go ahead and smash that like button right now. Don't forget to share this with your wimpy friends so they can get some enlightenment. And most importantly, subscribe to this channel so you don't miss out on other cool movie updates from me. If you don't subscribe, watch out. I might just send Abby to your house to ask for some blood. All right then, I'm heading out, guys. Thanks for your time, stay cool, stay awesome, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.